Yes,
Now you can.
to everyone. Yeah, I hope I'm visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am, you are visible and audible.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So let's start with today's lecture. I hope you all are fit and fine. So let's start with the today's subject that I'm taking here is PPL, Principle of Programming Language. So here, first two units we have already completed. Now I'm starting the unit 3. So I'm sharing my PPT with you. So as you know, this subject is related to the principles of programming language. So those programming language we are using nowadays or earlier we were using it, that is all based on one of the language, right? So programming, like we have a Hindi language, English language, the same we have a programming language. So for doing a programming, we need to use these programming language. So programming language, the important thing is you have to learn the basics of the language. So what are the common syntax, that semantics meaning the meaning of the instruction or meaning of the statement that you are using it. Okay, so this will come in a basics of a PPL, right? Then we have a syntax, semantics, and what else we have? The compilers we are using. So all these terms we are using in the principle of programming language. So how we are writing the instruction, how the instruction will be executed. So this is all the process we will discuss in this particular subject. So now I'm going to start my PPT. So everyone, those are present in the class, you can mention yes, like this, you can share your things, like name your particular, your enrollment number, your program for your attendance. Okay. I hope you all have already sent it in the chat box. So after completing all the slides or after every slide, you can give your consent to me. I hope my screen is visible. Then, so this is the program, Principle of Programming Language. We have Unit 3. Just a second. Yeah. Again, I'm sharing my screen with you. I have a doubt, then now I'll start it again. Yeah. Now my screen is visible to everyone. I'm starting from the first slide. Yes, Unit 3 is issues in language translation. What kind of issues you are facing in the language translation, right? So let's start with the guidelines. So these are the guidelines. You are very much aware of the guidelines, right? Here you can write down, you will mention your enrollment number, your program name, everything you will write it here. So another thing that we have in this is the content. What are the content that we are going through in during the lecture? That is the we first of all I will consider the introduction of this chapter, then syntax. I already told you. So issues in language translation. So whatever the language, programming language, you will write it. So what issue you will face while executing them. So these here we are going to discuss the issues of a programming issues in language translation. So when you are translating the language, what kind of issues you are facing it? First of all, we are talking about the syntax, general language syntax, general syntactic criteria, syntactic elements of a language. Okay, overall program, subprogram structure, stage analysis and stages in translation, analysis of the source program, synthesis, synthesis of the object program. So all will come in the content of this particular unit. So what we are going to learn in this session today? So syntax, that is learning how to analyze and translate the structure of a sentence between different languages. So between different languages, how we will analyze, how we will translate the structure of a sentence. So like I'm writing the C language. Okay, so we will use printf, scanf, printf that enter the two numbers. So this is what? This is here we are using the syntax of bracket or semicolon, everything we will write it. We will write start with the printf. So these are the syntax that we need to learn, that how we will analyze it and how the meaning we will use it in during the programming. What does this line means? So according to that, we will write the program in the programming language. See, second, we have semantics that I told you, understanding. Semantic means to understand the things, their meaning of the words, meaning of the phrase, sentence, whatever you are using in a programming language, according to the cultural context and how you are conveying the same meaning in a different language. Third, we are able to learn after end of this session. What you will learn, you will easily understand by the syntax. You will easily understand by the semantics. Now, the third thing that you will easily be learn after the end of this session, stages of analysis and synthesis. Okay, so learning the systematic steps involved in translating a piece of text from one language to another. So when you are writing the high level language, like if I'm writing the C or C plus language, and when it will be translated into the machine language, so we need the program needs to be passed from the many number of stages of analysis, and at the last we will synthesize it. So we will analyze the original text, and then we will synthesize the translation. So after analysis and synthesis, we will get a final product for accuracy and coherence. So in PPL, analysis and synthesis are very important or essential process for understanding, designing, and implementing the any programming language. So these stages are commonly applied in the language processing tasks. What kind of task? Like compilation or interpreter design. Is this clear? What is the objective of this unit? Yes or no? Tell me, everyone. So anything, if you have doubt, you can write down in this. Okay. Okay, Bhuman. Okay. Okay, everybody is marking their attendance here. Yes. Okay, Pavan. Okay, Smartha. Yes. Okay. No issues. Okay, Khushbu. Got it. Very good, Khushbu. So now, after learning this, yes, Rajveer Singh. Just a second. Yeah. So in the introduction part, so first of all, I'm just telling you about the language design, how we are designing the language. This is a very critical aspect of a programming language development. So what we are defining in the language, we're defining their structure, their syntax, and their semantics. And finally, we have a overall characteristics of a programming. So what we are defining in the language design, structure, syntax, semantics, and the overall characteristics. So whatever the statement you are writing in a programming language, so they have some meaning. Meaning means semantics and all other characteristics also of the language. So, okay, thank you, Bhuman. Okay. So then in the context of PPL, language design focus on creating the what we are creating: expressive, efficient, and reliable programming tools. So language design refers to the process of what kind of process we are during the language design, what kind of process we are referring it. We are refer how we are defining the syntax, how the language looks, what kind of keywords like printfs in the C. If we are talking about the C language, then we know the keywords we are using here, printf, scanf, or return we are using, right? Operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, their expressions also we are using defining the syntax. Second, we have establishing semantics. What the language construct mean? What the language constructs means their behavior. We are talking about here about their behavior. So here we are establishing the semantics. Then we have a specifying. So semantics, I told you what that language construct mean. Meaning means how the particular statement will behave in a program. So that is establishing the semantics. Then the last we have a specifying pragmatics, how the language interact with the user, how the user, is it that the language is user friendly with that user, or how it is interacting with the environment. So environment means how is this easy of use, or what kind of performance it is performing during the execution of a program. Means at the runtime how the program behaves. So that is specifying the pragmatics. Is this clear? Introduction part. Now, first term I am going to explain you about syntax. What is syntax in a PPL? Yes, after completing one slide, you can post your comments if you have any doubt, or if you are understood, if it is understood to you. Okay. Okay, Rishika. Is it got? Yes, you got it about the introduction part. Is it clear to you? Introduction part, beta. So can I start the next slide? Yes, Bhumin. Okay. Thank you, Bhumin. Khushbu, what was not clear to you? Beta, if you are writing any of the programming language, what kind of things that you have to be considered during making any of the programming language? First of all, you have to be focused on the syntax. First of all, you have to focus on the syntax. What kind of syntax you are using it, keywords and all that you are using it, operators, what kind of expressions you are using it during making any programming. Either of C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, any of the language. So you will define the syntax. That will depend on the whatever the language you will decide it. उसके ऊपर depend करेगा that these particular keywords, operator and expression you are using it. Then after writing the syntax, because by using of syntax only you can make the instruction of a program, or you can make a statement of a program, right? So they must have some meaning when whatever the statement you are writing in a program or instruction you are writing in a program, right? Then their pragmatics is also very much be easy or clear to the user also. So we have to specify their pragmatics, that how the language interacting with the user, is it easy, or it is a critical one for the understanding of the user. So this is in the introduction. Khushbu, now it's clear to you, beta? Tell me. Okay. Now come to the syntax. Now I'm completely explaining. So now let's come to the complete part of the first part that we have considered, that is in the introduction, syntax. So syntax in the programming language refers to the set of rules. So obviously it is rules, that semicolon will come, it start with the main function, that curly bracket will come, then we have to write down the functions, printf and scanf functions. So this is all the set of rules that define the structure and the format of a valid program. So that we called as a syntax. It specifies how the various elements like keyword, operator, identifier, and symbols can be combined to form a statement of a program, expression of a program, and the program in a way that so we have to make it in that way that the compiler or interpreter can understand. Then we need to Then what is the purpose of this syntax? That ensures the source code. प्रोग्राम को और क्या नाम देते हैं और क्या बोल सकते हैं? The another name of the program is that we called as a source code. So syntax ensures that the program or the source code is structured in a way that the language processor, what are the processor we have compiler or interpreter. If the system will shut down, please wait in the class, I will connect it again. Okay, so might be the system will off, I will connect it again beta, so don't miss the class. So compiler or interpreter, so that can parse and understand. So this is the purpose of making a program by using of a syntax, because the compiler or interpreter, what are these compiler and interpreter? These are the translator. So they are translating the high level language program into the machine language. Okay, so whatever the syntax we are using in a program, that can easily parse and understand if we are writing the program with the proper syntax. So this is the purpose we have to be consider the proper syntax of a language while writing a program, because when we will translate it can be easily parsed and it can be easily understood by the translators. Who's the translators? Compiler and interpreter. So what is analogy? Just as the grammar governs, Yes. Sorry for the interruption. Now I'm active now. So, okay, okay. Uh, just a second. Yes. Yeah. So now I'm going to share my PPT again. Sorry for the interruption. So this is my PPT with you all. Yeah, here it is. Yes. So what was the last topic that we were discussing it in the class? That is syntax, right? So let's continue with the syntax topic. So I was explaining you the analogy, just as grammar governs how the words are arranged in a sentence. S- So we are arranging it, right? We are arranging the words so that it will make a sentence in a natural language. How you are in a natural language, you are making a sentence. You are arranging the words, right? In English, the same syntax governs how the programming constructs are arranged in a program. Is this clear to everyone? The syntax governs how the programming language constructs are arranged in a program. So this one of the example also I have taken here, example of syntax. So it will be clear to you. Let's see the example of syntax. Consider an if-else statement in Python. In Python, if I'm writing if condition, so what is the syntax here? We are using the keyword if here. Then we are writing the syntax. We are writing the condition, and then we are using a syntax here that every if statement ends with a colon sign. Two dots we called as a colon. So Python में whenever we are defining the if else statement, it ends with a colon. Then the block of code, whatever the statement you want to write down in the condition, you can write it to execute. If the condition is true, that particular statement will execute it. Otherwise, else part will execute it. If the condition is false, then the control will come to the else part. After else also, we have to put the colon sign, right? Is this clear? So then syntax rules क्या है? The if key, I told you already, the if in this, whatever the example that I have taken it here. So what is syntax in this example? So syntax rules here it is the if keyword we will use must be followed by a condition and it will be end with the colon. The body of the if and the else block must be intended consistently. So we have to be intended accordingly. Intended means we have to take a particular space. So block of code will not start just next to the if condition. So some space I will take it and then we will start write down the block of code. So that we called as an indentation. The else keyword must also be followed by a colon. So these are the syntax rules, or these are the syntax that we are using it while writing a Python language, Python programming language. Is this clear to you? What is syntax and how we are using it in a programming language? Tell me everyone, hurry up. Okay, Sani. What about others? Is this clear? Okay. Okay, Bhumin. Very good, beta. Okay, beta. Then next we have a after syntax, general syntactic criteria. What is a general? What is the general syntactic criteria we have? So readability. So while writing a syntax, what kind of criteria we must need it? So in this, so one was asking that analogy means that what similarity was that in Hindi we can say samanta. So what is the analogy in this? Is this is क्या समानता है क्या सिमिलैरिटी है एक नेचुरल लैंग्वेज और एक प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में सो दिस वी कॉल्ड एज अ एनालॉगी लाइक इन वी आर मेकिंग अ सेंटेंस वी आर मेकिंग विद द वर्ड्स we need to construct the words. We have to be arrange the words like that will make a sentence. In the same way, in a programming language also, we have to be arrange the syntax like that it will look like as a program, or it is the fully structured, we can say, arrange in a program. Is this clear? So that we called as a analogy. Clear? Then we have a general syntactic criteria. Clear to everyone? Who was Mohit? Is it clear to you, beta? When will we taught C language? Beta C language class. Dibya Jyoti, beta, this is C language class. C language subject is your different subject than the PPL. There you will learn only about the C. Here we have a syntax or the semantics we are going to learn of a different languages. We are not considering any of the single language here. Here we are talking about the basics of all the languages. Voice is not coming? Tell me everyone, voice is coming or not? Yes, syntax is like a grammar. It is checking the rules and structure. Very good, Manoj. You're right. My voice is audible to you? Okay. Pooja, you have joined late. Why you have joined the late class? Tell me. Kindly come on time, please, Pooja. Next time. Yes, Khushbu. Still, Khushbu, my voice is not coming to you. Tell me others also, so that otherwise some network issue is at her end. Is the problem at her end? My voice is audible? Okay, Paras. Thank you. So that means Khushbu, check at your end, because from my end the things are clear. Okay, thanks Ahani, thanks Aman. So now come to the rules of a general syntactic criteria. So the first we have a readability. It should be readable. So whatever when we are writing the syntax, so those syntax we are writing for making a programming language, it should be clear. It should be readable. So the ease with which a programmer can understand the code written in the language. So what kind of characteristics we need in a programming language? That the syntax should be consistent. Means consistent means updated. Abhishek, you are late in the class, beta. Kindly come on time. No, none. So let do class. Khushbu, beta check at your end. Yes, Piyush, why you are late in the class, beta? Kindly come on time. So now come to the point, readability. So we need a characteristics of what kind of characteristics we need for the journal syntactic criteria. So syntax journal syntax क्या है? We are not out talking about here Python. We are not talking about a C language here. We are not talking about any of the other languages. Journal syntactic criteria क्या होना चाहिए? By selecting or by choosing of any of the programming language, what general things that you will consider it? So the syntax should be readable, so it should be consistent, means updated, and it should be clear syntax. Use of meaningful words, if, while, for. So if we are using the keywords, their meaning should be clear to us. Minimal use of obscure or overly complex constructs. So don't use the complex constructs while using while making a syntax of any of the programming language. Clear? Then let's see the example how we are talking about the readability. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now, who's waiting? Okay. Amisha, Abhay, you are late in the class, beta. Next time I will not allow you. Okay. So yeah, readability. So example of the readability is like Python is often praised for its readability. So we are always nowadays Python is popular in the market. Why it is popular? Because it is user friendly, or it is more readable than any other language. So due to simple and clean syntax. So here we are using a very clean or a simple syntax. So in Python, how you are writing the code? You are writing if condition is x is greater than 5, then you have to be end with the colon. So print what we are printing. If x is greater than 5, then x is what will be what the monitor will print in the output. It will print is a function that we are using in the Python for printing anything on the in the output. So we will print in the output is x is greater than 5. So this is we will come in the readability. Okay. What same bole? Yes. Now, second general syntactic criteria we need is simplicity. So, language syntax should avoid unnecessary complexity. So, it is important that to be avoid unnecessary complexity. So, the fewer syntax rules and exception we need to use it. What characteristics we need for the simplicity? So, syntax में हमेशा fewer syntax rules होने चाहिए and exceptions होने चाहिए. Minimal use of ambiguous grammar. We will not use the ambiguous means duplicate, so we need not to, or redundant, we can say redundant, minimal use of a duplicate grammar. It should be unique grammar, straightforward construct for a common operations. Like example I'm showing you, like in a Pascal we are using a, now in which language we have a simple syntax? Pascal. So Pascal has a simple syntax for variable declaration, how we are declaring the variable in a Pascal. So variable x, so where we are using where keyword, we are using it for defining the variable. So where x is the variable name, x is a variable name. Then we will put a colon, and then we are defining their data type. So data type of x is x variable data type क्या है? Integer, and the statement end with the semicolon, right? So that's why we are saying the Pascal is having a simple declaration language. So here I'm not talking about any of the single language like C, C++ or any other language. Here we are taking an example of all the languages. Those are particularly suit in that particular explanation, right? So don't be confused or don't be puzzled that why ma'am is taking example from a different languages. So this that's why we have given the name to this subject, principle of programming language. Here we are discussing the principles of all the programming languages, not of a any single language. So next we have a writability. So syntax feature that make program easy to write usually make them hard to read. So those languages that are difficult to read it, but they are easy to write it. So this feature is also very important for a general syntax criteria. So writability enhanced, concise, and a few syntax structures. Readability enhanced by verbose and varied syntax structures. So implicit syntax. Implicit means, yes, allowing declaration and operation to be unspecified. Here we are not declaring it the operation, but it is to be done automatically. So making programmer shorter. If the syntax are implicit मतलब जो automatically चीजें हो जाए. So that is, you need not to define in the program, and it will be done automatically. So that will make these kind of declarations, those are implicit syntax that make the programmer shorter and easier to write, but harder to read. because it's too difficult to understand to those users. Those are not knowing about the implicit syntax. Those users are not having a knowledge of implicit syntax. For them, it is difficult to read it, but easy to write it. For the writer, it is easy to write it. So a syntax is redundant if it can say the same thing in we are writing in more than one way, right? Yes or no? So sometimes this is useful. Sometimes this makes program harder to write. So languages that have no redundancy are often difficult to use. So languages that have no redundancy are often difficult to use. So to read is difficult, but for writing it is easy. Next, we have a orthogonality. What is the meaning of orthogonality? So the ability to combine different language feature without unexpected restriction or a interaction. So we can easily combine the two languages features together without creating a restrictions. So characteristics of this orthogonality is a small set of primitive construct that work consistently in all the contexts, in all the situations, in all the problems. We can use the constructor for the work consistently. Fewer special cases and exceptions we have. If we have a fewer special cases and exceptions, then also make our code easy. So like in C, I'm explaining it orthogonality with the help of example. Like in C, types and operators can generally be combined in a predictable way. How we are defining the types and operators? Like if I'm writing int x is equal to 5. Int is a data type, integer, x is the variable name, and is equal to is the assignment operator. We are assigning the 5 value to the variable x, and the statement ends with a semicolon. So x plus is equal to 3. So this works uniformly across the integer. So for every integer, the 3 will be used formally with all the integers, because the x plus is equal to 3. What does this line means? I'm explaining you. This means you are writing this line in this way. X is equal to x plus 3. Is this clear? This line you can write in this way also. X is equal to x plus 3. So whatever the value of x is, changing it by during a loop or during the execution of this instruction, or in a loop if we are using this statement. So every time when we are incrementing the variable of x, the 3 value will be added constantly or uniformly across all the integers. Whatever the value of the integer will come of x, the 3 will be added uniformly. Yes? Yes or no? Is this clear to you? Shakil, you are late in the class, beta. Next time in the next class, I will not allow you. Yes. Is this clear to you? Any doubt in this? Up to this topic, if you have any doubt, kindly ask me. Yes. Yes, Khushbu. If x is greater than 5, print hello, else print else parts. Yes, right. In a Python, you have written a right syntax. Okay, all clear. Thanks, Abhay, for your feedback. Yes, clear. Okay, okay, okay. Now, very good. Now, after this, we have a uniformity. So after orthogonality, we have already learned the uniformity. The syntax should be consistent across similar constructs. So every time the syntax will be similar if we are using the constructor in a 2 or 3 lines. Characteristics, similar rules for the similar operation. Avoid introducing the multiple ways to achieve the same result. We will use the same construct, same operation for the language. We will avoid the multiple ways to achieve the same result. So what is the example? Python use the consistent indentation rules for all the blocks. So in the Python, if we are using the def for defining the function in the Python, we are using the def keyword. Def is a keyword name that we will use it as it is. Then we are writing the function name here. We are using func function, and then in the bracket we have put the we are using the colon sign. Then after taking a some indentation means space ke baad, then we are using the if keyword. X is greater than 5 colon, then print x. So here we are defining a function. There we are checking the condition and we are printing the result of a X. So this is here Python uses the consistent indentation rules. So what is uniform in the Python language? Every time whenever we are defining a condition, there the block of code will follow the rule of indentation. We have to take some space and then we will start the next line. So this uniformity is very important for the Python language. So the syntax always be consistent across similar construct. If we are defining the 5 if else block or 5 function we are defining in a program, every function will be write down in the same way. So that we called as a uniformity. Next, we have a minimality. So the language should have a few construct as necessary to accomplish the task. So we have to try to use the few constructs or a few conditions for accomplishing the task. Because what are the characteristics we needed for this? Avoid the redundant or the overlapping feature. Learning and understanding of the language should be simplified. Example, in a C, the single for loop construct can be used for many purposes. Like if I'm writing for loop, here we int I is equal to 0 means initialization भी हमने इसमें कर दी. I is less than 10. Here we have defining the condition also. I plus plus. So here we are incrementing the value of I also. So with the one for loop, the three things we have done in a single line. And then after putting a 1 minute, so this will become in this way. Then we have to start the curly bracket. Okay. And then after this, then we will have to define the curly bracket after for loop, and then we will use the printf. So in a C language, we are using after the for loop, we have to write down the printf statement. Printf is a function. There we are printing the value of I, and percentage %d we are using because I is calculating an integer value. For integer value, we are using the d specific. We are specifier d specifier we are using for the integer value. Then we will end it with the semicolon, and here we need to close the curly braces. Then next we need a parsability. If x greater than 5, then print x. Yes, you can say. How? Bole, what you want to ask? I'm not understood your question. For string, for use string, but here we are talking about a simple structure. Here we are not telling you about this question you must have asked to your C language teacher. Those are teaching you a particular programming language. Here I'm defining you, I am explaining, hey, this is a theoretical concept, but I have added the example so that you can understand it कि syntax को किस purpose में uniformity और किस purpose में minimality और ये these words we are using it. Here I'm not telling you that in place of this, how you will write it in a string, how you are writing it in a float, how you will define it in a different data types. So these questions you have to be created in your mind for the C when you are going to learn the C language from the C language teacher. Here I'm explaining you what is the general syntax criteria for writing of any programming language. What kind of general syntax criteria we needed. So for that, I am specially defining it with the example so that the things will be clear in your mind. कैसे एक programming construct or in a programming scenario, how we are considering these general syntax criteria. Next, we have a parsability. The syntax should be easy to parse by compiler and interpreter, by both humans and the machines. So avoid ambiguity. We need not to use the duplicate languages. So it should be avoid ambiguity. Duplicacy must not be there. Follow a well-defined grammar. It should be a well-defined grammar, like we are using in SQL, structured query language. How we are users in a SQL, the syntax select. This is a select command we are using it. That is in DDL like data definition language. In this, we are using a select command. Select name. Name is the attribute name, that a column name that we want to see from the table users, where age is greater than 30. So in a table, in a database, we are searching a table users. There we have to check the particular record in a table that whosoever the age is greater than 30, we want to see the name from that users table. So this command, select command in SQL language, will show you the name of that particular student from the users table whose age is greater than 30. So this we called as a parsability. The syntax should be easy to parse by the human. So for human also it is easy to understand it, and for the machines also. Is this clear to everyone? If data type is string, then pass printf. Yes, we can pass this printf with the printf statement also. Yes, if age is greater than 30, then success, otherwise false. Yeah, नहीं, here we are not checking true false. Hey, from the database, SQL में क्या होता है बेटा? In SQL language, we have a database. So there in database is made up of many of the tables. So one of the users table must be there. You have to choose the record from the table that whosoever the age is greater than 30, that particular name will come. Like Khushbu age is greater than 30. So Khushbu name it will show you in the output from all the records of the table. Yeah, Sani, you can say yes. That particular condition will be satisfied in the table, then only the output will come. Otherwise, it will not show you the output. Okay. Now, come after learning the general syntax criteria, next we have a syntactic elements of a language. What is the syntactic elements of a language? So syntactic, what elements we are using in a programming? Syntax समझ लिया what is syntax in programming language. Now what are the elements, that syntactic elements we are using in a programming language? So why we are defining the elements? Because it defines the structure, it defines the rules of forming the valid expressions, statements, and the programs. So these elements constitute the grammar of the language that ensure the code can be parsed and understood by compiler or interpreters. What are compiler and interpreters? These are the translators. Those are translating the any of the high level language into the machine language. Now, the first element we need it in a programming language, that is tokens. So what is token? So question comes in your mind that what is token? This is the smallest unit of a programming language. Like syntax typically classified into categories such as, so syntax को हम किस किस कैटेगरी में डिवाइड करते हैं जब प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में यूज करते हैं? It should be, syntax will become in the form of keywords, identifiers, operators, literals, and punctuations. Example keyword, what kind of keyword we are using in a programming language? Keywords are the reserved words like if, while, return. In C language, we are using the return statement. Identifier, that is user defined name for variables, functions, etc. Like my, where, you're using the user defined name. According to the program, you're using, according to your convenience, you're using the variable names that we called as identifiers. Just like my, where, you have written, if you're calculating the sum, then you are using that name only, calculate sum. So these we called as identifiers. Operators, symbol like plus, minus, multiplication, division is equal to that. These are the operators also we called as a token. Literals, fixed value like 42, hello, true. These are the tokens. These are also we called consider as a literals are also considered as a token. Punctuation like semicolon, comma, curly bracket close, curly bracket start. These all comes in a token. So these are the very, very smallest unit of a programming language that some are using in the syntax, some are using in a different categories like in a keyword, identifier, operator. Next, we have a lexemes. What is lexemes? So definition, the actual text in that source code that matches a token. Those so actual text, those are matches with the token that we called as a lexemes. Example in the statement, if I'm writing int x is equal to 10, semicolon. So here the lexemes are int, comma, x is also lexemes, int is also lexemes, is equal to is also lexemes, 10 is also lexemes, and semicolon is also a lexemes. So these are the actual text in the source code that match a token. Third, we have a grammar, a set of formal rules that describe how token can be combined. Now, after learning the rules, then we have to combine these token for making a statement in a program. So to form a valid construct in the language. So what kind of grammar we need to use it? Types of grammar we have. Lexical grammar that define how token are formed. Regular expression for identifier or a literal. Context-free grammar define the syntax of construct, like how we are defining it, the expression, statement, and the declaration. So that comes in a context-free grammar. So different type of grammar we are using according to the programming. Syntax rules. So rules that specify the correct arrangement of syntactic elements that we call as a syntax rules. Example of syntax rules are variable declaration. Like in Java, we are writing type, data type, identifier name is equal to value and then semicolon. So data type क्या हो गया? Int. Example I have written with this syntax. Example, int type is int. Identifier we are using here x is equal to value we are using here 5. So int x is equal to 5 is the variable declaration syntax rule. Function definition. In Python, how you are defining the function. So def, I told you for defining a function in a Python, we always use the keyword def, D-E-F. Def matlab defining. So we are defining here the function name will come and in the bracket you will write down the parameters. And then after defining the function name, then the function body will start it. After taking some indentation, we have now started the second line in the same place. See here, I have not started the function body line after the just after the def, just after the D here in the next line. We have taken some space and then we have started function body. So this is a rule, this is the syntax rules for defining the block of code in the definition while defining the function. Next, we have expressions, combination of variables, literals, and operators that evaluate to a value. So one of the expression will evaluate a value. Type of expression we are using it here. Arithmetic expression means we are using here arithmetic operators only, like plus and multiplication. A, B, C are the variables. Logical expression here, X, Y, Z are the variables. And this is two ampersand sign. You are watching it. And two, this this uh, this I sign will be considered as OR, and this two ampersand sign will be considered as AND, X and Y or Z. So this is the way for writing a logical expression. Relational expression, use the greater than and less than symbol. So A and B are variable here, and greater than sign is the relational operator. So for the relational expression, we are using relational operator. For logical expression, we are using a logical operator. For arithmetic expression, we are using a arithmetic operator. Is this clear, the expressions? Then we have a statements. Instruction or commands in the program that perform actions that any of the instruction you are writing in a program, for what purpose you are writing in the program? Because they must have performing any of the action. So type of statement we have, like if in a program we are writing assignment statement, so that is assigning a value to a variable, like x is equal to 10. So we are assigning the 10 value to a variable x. Control statement, manage the flow of execution, like if control statement, if we are using while or for. So these all are the control statements we are using in a programming language. Declaration statement, we are defining the variable or the functions, like if I'm writing int x or def function name. So that means these are the declaration statements. Next, we have a blocks definition. So group of statement, block क्या होता है? Group of statement enclosed within the delimiters. जो curly brackets के बीच में और indentation in Python में we are using a indentation. Braces we are using, these curly braces we are using while defining the C language. So always the block of code or the group of statement that we are writing after the if condition, either it in the C language it will be enclosed in the curly braces, and in Python it should be block of code will be written in by taking some indentation space. So like I'm taking example here of a block of C language, how we are defining the block of code in a C language. Int x is equal to 5. Then we are writing the statement block of code here. We are writing printf %d x. So %d, why we are writing in the double quotes? Because here we are taking a value of x here. So a d specifies the integer, and we have put the C language into the braces. We are not using here indentation because int is x is equal to 5. Next line I have started from the जहां से I शुरू हो रहा है वहीं से P हमने शुरू कर रखा है. We have not taken any space here. But if we are writing the same code in a Python, we need to take an indentation and then we will start the second line. That was the basic syntax or a rule of a Python. Keywords. Keywords are the reserved words. If while I told you these are the reserved words, that their meaning is already fixed. So you cannot change their meaning. So these cannot be used as identifier. So control flow, in control, for example, like for control flow we are using if else switch. Loops के लिए हम कौन से कीवर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं, for और while. For declaration what we are using int float, or for in C++ we are using a class keyword, class name. So these all are the keywords. Operators, symbol or the keywords that represent computation or the operations that we called as a operator. Arithmetic operators, relational operators कौन कौन से होते हैं, logical operators, assignment operators and bitwise operators. So the operators are the symbols that represents the operations. So here also we have learned the many types of operators also. Now the next topic has come. So this I will discuss with you in the next class. Def are used in Python for function. Yes, Abhay, you are right. Token are used authenticate the user. No. For the syntax we are using for defining any of the particular syntax. अगर मैं लिख रही हूँ int x is equal to 10, तो int b so int x is equal to 10. So here the token we have a every I told you ना what the token operators भी आ गए उसमें, हमारे keywords भी आ गए. Sorry. टोकन्स में हमारे क्या क्या आ गए, कीवर्ड्स भी आ गए, आइडेंटिफायर्स भी, ऑपरेटर्स भी, लिटरल्स भी, पंक्चुएशंस भी, दैट ऑल विल कम इन द टोकन्स. ओके. Token are no, that this is Sahani, you are not right, beta. Token are not used to authenticate the user. This is for authentication of the syntax we are using. For making any of the instruction, for making of any statement in a program, we are using the token, because every keyword ऑपरेटर these literals इन सबको यूज करके ही एक सेंटेंस एक इंस्ट्रक्शन बनती है हमारे प्रोग्राम में, एक स्टेटमेंट बनती है हमारे प्रोग्राम में. So token are not used to authenticate the user. Def are used in Python for function. Yes, you are right. Any other point that you want to ask to me? Hurry up. If you have any doubt or any query related to the topics that we have covered today, kindly ask me, beta. Hurry up, everyone. Do you have any doubt in the topic, beta? Not everything. I told you what are the things that you need to consider it in this. टोकन में आप कीवर्ड्स को कंसीडर कर सकते हैं, आइडेंटिफायर, ऑपरेटर्स, लिटरल्स एंड पंक्चुएशन. नॉट ऑल द थिंग्स. You cannot consider the grammar, you cannot consider the expressions, operators. These will not come in the tokens. Pragmatics means how you are, is it easy, is it user friendly or not. Whatever the programming language you are using, it is user friendly. It is user friendly with you or with the environment. So that will come in the pragmatics. It can be, yes, short answer will come better. Okay, Rahul, thank you so much for your consent. Yes, user friendly, and yes, no doubts, all clear, ma'am. Thank you, Bhumin, for your valuable feedback, beta. Thank you, Bhole. Thank you, Rahul, Jainath. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Sahani, for your feedback, beta. Your acknowledgement is very important for me. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jainath. Thank you, Priyanshu, for your valuable feedback. Thanks to everyone. I'll try to explain you in a more better way. I will choose it for the explanation next time so that the things will be more clear to you. So for till that moment, just to take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Take care. And have a nice day. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Rushi. Bye. Bye, everyone. No, Bole, I'm using laptop, beta. I'm leaving the class. So next week I will meet you on Thursday on the same time. Kindly come on time. Those are late in the class. Kindly come on time so that you can understand the topic easily.